what messages can parents, caregivers, adults give to enhance thriving, safe relationships between rangatahi adolescents?
Yeah, and I think it's a huge part of our work. Yes, young people come to us for specific reasons, but ultimately we're looking to the future. We want them to go forward as young adults and have a good sense of relationships, what's safe, what's healthy, and just how to do relationship really well. Adolescence is a time where it's about figuring that stuff out, and obviously parents and caregivers and adults are so key in giving those messages. And I think in the current landscape of the online world, it's even more important for adults to be giving those messages to young people. So it's those conversations that come up and just open up that curious conversation around what they notice about, I don't know, their friends' relationship, or what they notice with whoever they're following online, and just as many opportunities to open those conversations. Because I suppose teenagers are notorious for wanting to shut things down and to feel embarrassed. And I think it's really important for parents and caregivers to continue opening that space up. Because I think a lot of what young people are learning about relationships as teenagers is it's really nuanced. There's not a clear cut, this is how you do this. I mean, there's some things that are clear, but there's some really nuanced things that are quite difficult that you're just learning as you're going. I think parents probably have a better outcomes when they're sat shoulder to shoulder with young people, having conversations about awkward topics when they're in the car, when they're out for a walk, when they're, I don't know, cooking a meal in the kitchen, and as opposed to sitting down and having a really intense chat around what does a good relationship look like, what do you need to remember when you're in a relationship. Anything extra, Joe?
Yeah, I guess when it comes to bringing up those tricky topics around inappropriate or concerning, maybe even harmful sexual behaviour, having a conversation doesn't necessarily look like one conversation, but it's a series of conversations over a period of time that you might elicit more information over time. But I guess the hope is that it's a cool engagement, and there's enough relationship first before, or enough relationship so that that relationship can hold and handle the content around some of the more difficult conversations.
So is that something that STOP focuses on initially with the engagement building with the tamariki, is to, instead of going straight into maybe what's happened, is it more about that relationship building initially?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's at STOP, I guess we are thriving. We're striving to step towards becoming a bicultural organisation, and that does look like starting with whakawhanaungatanga. It does look like making connections and building rapport, therapeutic alliance, all those good things. Because that's the therapeutic vessel that will carry the young person through the program. So we always start there, but we also name it first as well. So it's really important that that at STOP we don't beat around the bush, so to speak, but we name the fact that we are an organisation that works with young people who have engaged in harmful sexual behaviour, as opposed to other phrases or labels that you might hear thrown around it or towards young people. We make that distinction, but we name it up front, and we're all about doing accountability and therapeutic work together.
Yeah, and I think sometimes role modeling that to, you know, parents and caregivers who might not feel comfortable sort of using the language and naming behaviours or just having conversations around sex and relationships. And I suppose in the engagement's a big part of it to help people feel comfortable and safe, but also it role models actually we just are going to have these conversations. Yeah, because if we don't, you know, young people are not getting the messages from their safe adults, they're getting the messages from peers and the internet. And yeah, so we've got to kind of be brave and courageous to be able to sort of just talk about the stuff that sometimes as grown-ups we don't talk about, or that it feels like a taboo topic.